In his interview with Sean Hannity on Fox News that aired this week, Donald Trump seemed to proudly proclaim that inflation is back, baby. In fact, Donald Trump literally said, "Inflation is back. No, think of it. Inflation's back." And they said, "Oh, Trump and I had nothing to do with it. These people have run the country. They spent money like nobody has ever spent. They were given $9 trillion to throw out the window. $9 trillion. The greatest scam in the history of the country. One of them." We have a lot of them, I guess, but one of them, dollar-wise, probably. Like, you're contradicting yourself so many times in just that last sentence. Like, it's the biggest one ever. Well, maybe not, but one of them. But could be. There's a lot of them, dollar-wise, probably, maybe. I don't freaking know. Because you don't know. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know where you got the $9 trillion tag. By the way, your first administration actually drove the national debt greater than Biden's administration. And you know that. And Sean Hannity knows that. And Elon Musk, sitting right next to you during that interview for some reason, like a good little babysitter, he also knows that. But none of you idiots bothered to say that. Because all you do is lie. You know, when you can form a complete sentence. But no, it was not the greatest scam in history. But I do love that you're like, inflation's back. But I had nothing to do with it, right? It's these guys that have not been calling the shots in over a month now. They're the ones that are still doing it. Biden's working his voodoo on the economy somehow. No, this is you. You own it. You don't get to pass the buck. The buck stops here, right? What happened to that? The days when we had presidents that would say things like that, like, listen, I'm in charge. It's on me. The buck stops here. But with Donald Trump forever blaming everybody else for all of his problems, the buck stops there. There's the buck. There's the buck. I have no bucks. No bucks. No bucks are stopping here. The reason inflation is going up, even while Biden, in January was president for most of January, inflation was going up on the anticipation of Donald Trump's policies. His mass deportations caused prices to rise. The anticipation of the mass deportations caused prices to rise. The anticipation of the tariffs caused prices to rise. So even though he had not yet implemented those plans, the threat of them, the anticipation of them, the things that everybody knew were coming, caused prices to rise. Corporations have literally told us that. They started holding meetings back in December to discuss how to raise their prices in anticipation of Trump's tariffs. He may not have been president, but it was his looming policies that did in fact cause this inflation. And he's also vowing to make it worse. Because after this interview aired, Donald Trump, while speaking with reporters, mentioned new tariffs that will be coming, April 2nd. New tariffs hitting the markets. And they're going to be 25% tariffs on imported cars, which is 50% of the U.S. auto market. 25% tariff on cars. Similar or higher tariffs on imported pharmaceuticals and, of course, semiconductors. So if you're on medication, you can look forward. We're already paying the highest medication prices in the world. And those prices, thanks to Donald Trump alone, are about to go up by 25%. Because if you think that American pharmaceutical companies are not going to jump at the chance to raise their prices by 25% because their foreign competitors have to do it too, you're kidding yourself. They will do it in a heartbeat. And there is nothing we can do about it. Semiconductors. Unless you're living off the grid and have no electronic devices in your house, the cost of semiconductors going up is going to raise the price of nearly every piece of electronic equipment that you purchase by 25%. Depending on, how many semiconductors, whatever it is, the overall price is not going to go up by 25%, but the prices will in fact go up. Everything will become more expensive. Automobiles. On foreign imports. Again, 50% of the automobiles sold here in the United States are not American-made cars. They're imported from Canada and Mexico. That's where the bulk of them come from. We also have Germany. We also have Asia. Those prices will rise by 25%. So if you take a $50,000 car, but it's an import, you're now looking at a $62,500 car. That $12,500 price increase, and again, that's just on an average of 50 grand, that's going to price those automobiles out of reach. And again, U.S. automakers, because U.S. companies do this, they're going to try to match those price increases so that their products don't look inferior. It's what happened when Donald Trump launched his first trade war back during his first administration, trying to get people to buy American, but the American company said, well, we're going to raise our prices too, just so that we don't look like we're selling the same thing for $500 less, so obviously it's not good enough. Psychological tricks these groups play on you. And yes, they do. And yes, they're on record saying things like this. So Trump proclaims inflation is back, swears he has nothing to do with it, and then, of course, announces a bunch of policies that even before they're enacted on April 2nd, will drive inflation even higher. And when these price increases hit, just like they're already hitting right now, there is only one human being on this planet to blame. And that human being is the man who did this without oversight, without approval. Donald Trump did this to you. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform. That, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.